The path of nonconformity is not always easy, but it is always filled with excitement for those who refuse to be confined by societal norms. They are the dreamers who set limitless goals, unwilling to accept the limitations of predetermined rules. In doing so, they become challengers of the status quo and always seek out fresh and profound experiences. While a nonconformist lifestyle can bring freedom and creativity, it also invites resistance and risks from society and the law. This may lead an individual to face isolation or legal troubles. For these reasons, many people opt for safety by conforming and blending into society, sacrificing their nature and independence for the sake of convenience within predefined rules. Throughout history, some influential philosophers have advocated for the idea of nonconformity, often with their own unique perspectives. One of the most famous defenses of nonconformity is Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay, Self-Reliance, written by a talented writer. Another intriguing example of those who do not conform to standards is Albert Camus' novel, The Stranger. The concept of the Übermensch, or Overman, by Nietzsche can be seen as a powerful call to break free from conformity and shape an individual's own path. This video explores the concept of nonconformity and the lonely road by using the ideas of three philosophers. A notable example of someone who does not adhere to societal standards is the main character in Albert Camus' novel The Stranger, L'étranger. The story takes place in Algiers, a part of France, and revolves around a man named Meursault, a truly solitary figure. Despite his enjoyment of activities like swimming, appreciating food, and physical intimacy, Meursault always maintains a sense of detachment. When his mother passes away, he seems largely unaffected by it. The very next day, he goes to see a comedy film with his girlfriend, former colleague Marie. When Marie suggests marrying him after a few meetings, he reacts indifferently and agrees. Raymond, a morally corrupt and cruel individual, is Meursault's colleague and also his next-door neighbor. He exploits the affection of an Arab woman, a girl. When Meursault and Raymond stroll on the beach, they encounter the girl's brother, accompanied by another Arab man. Seeking revenge for what happened to his sister, the brother attacks Raymond, stabbing him in the arm and face. After Raymond's wounds healed, he returned to the beach with a gun. Meursault then took the gun from Raymond and led him home. He continued to walk alone on the beach and unexpectedly encountered the Arab man again. When the man drew a knife in a threatening manner, Meursault shot him 5 times. In the narrative told from his perspective, Meursault does not clarify the motive behind his actions, only mentioning the oppressive heat and glaring sunlight that made him feel uncomfortable. Meursault's lack of remorse for his actions, along with his steadfast adherence to his atheistic beliefs and refusal to pursue religion, repulses those around him. They are shocked when Meursault does not cry at his mother's funeral and even goes to see a comedy movie the next day. This leads them to conclude that he is a callous, cold-blooded murderer. Although Meursault has committed the crime of murder, he is not as terrifying as people often think. They misunderstand his indifference as a sign of evil. At the end of the story, before being executed, Meursault accepts the absurdity of the universe, giving him a sense of freedom and spiritual peace. Meursault's eccentricity and independence continually make him defy social norms and show no remorse. Meursault seems not to follow conventional norms of morality and right and wrong. Instead, he often pursues his instincts and emotions, He is isolated from society and disconnected from human emotions. He is a nonconformist, though this is not always by his own choice. His differences do not demand assimilation, and until his death, he remains true to himself. By accepting the absurdity of life and creating meaning for his own death, specifically to experience it, Meursault dies bravely. The purpose of the novel The Stranger is not to justify the act of murder, but to show how people can condemn someone for refusing to play society's game. Those who follow their own path often face opposition from the crowd. Such opposition can lead to ridicule, ostracism, or even being accused, causing trouble with authorities, not only for breaking the law, but also due to misunderstandings about those who are not entirely like them. But is opposition from society a reason to conform? The transcendentalist philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson would disagree with that view. In Emerson's essay, Self-Reliance, he proposes a core idea. We should trust our inner voice above all else. He argues that each person is equipped with an innate instinct, helping us to know what is right and wrong without needing guidance from others. By simply observing children, and even animals, we can see that they are driven by natural tendencies, guiding them to what is right and wrong for themselves. Emerson views the inner voice as a divine source or transcendent soul, an aspect of God that we carry within us. According to him, self-reliance means listening to this inner voice and placing it above all external voices. He believes that each person has unique experiences meant only for them, and no one else can understand their circumstances as they do. This is because each individual has their own divine plan, tailored and customized for themselves. Emerson's citation regarding casting off the common motives of humanity and daring to trust oneself for guidance demands a delicacy and determination akin to that of a saint. He believes that imitation brings no benefit, as each person is assigned a unique task in life. The independence and courage of historical figures like Plato and Moses lie not in their conformity to the mainstream, but in their adherence to instinct and creation of their own paths. Therefore, to pursue self-reliance, one must be non-conformist. They must choose the path opposite to the norm, if they feel so inclined. However, Emerson acknowledges that non-conformity also has its drawbacks. Opposition will lead to resistance, misunderstanding, and isolation from the community around, something that the character Meursault in Camus' novel experienced. To be great is to be misunderstood, Emerson asserts. We should not let this opposition deter us from our own path, because if we choose to conform for convenience, we will betray our inner voice and, as a result, betray ourselves. Meursault refuses to betray himself when the magistrate declares that he must submit to the religion of Christianity. Although it might make everything easier for him, it also means he would not be true to himself. Though Emerson follows a secular philosophy, and therefore believes that God exists around and within us, he still encourages us to connect with God without intermediaries, like the chaplain in Camus' story or churches in general. Therefore, although Meursault does not follow a religion, we can say, ironically, that the divine spark within him has driven him to live true to himself and reject a predetermined form of religion. Emerson recognizes that most people sacrifice their individuality to pursue conformity. Society dictates our thoughts and actions, the careers we choose, and if we obediently follow like good sheep, then we will receive the reward of blending into the crowd. We often easily get caught up in the whirlwind of symbols, ranks, and titles, all of which become meaningless when outside of society and the organizations that create them. Emerson views society as a corporation, where members unanimously relinquish freedom and individuality to ensure the greatest benefit for each shareholder, much like sharing a loaf of bread so that everyone has a portion. In most cases, virtue is understood as obedience, as a reflection of compliance. However, Emerson states that independence is its root. Therefore, to become nonconformists, we must be willing to defy societal norms if our nature demands it, which is a necessary progressive action. This also implies that no rules, whether from religion or government, hold more value than the rules we set for ourselves. Emerson advises us not only to rely on ourselves, but also to be part of society, because it's easier to follow the crowd, but it's also easier to dissent when living in solitude. He believes that a great person is one who can maintain their independence within the crowd naturally, not to showcase their uniqueness, but to be able to live independently without becoming lonely. Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, or Superman in English, represents a lofty goal for humanity. The Übermensch is not bound by societal and religious values and morals, but instead creates and pursues their own goals and values. Therefore, there seems to be a similarity between Emerson's self-reliant individual and Nietzsche's ideal human. Although Emerson believes that meaning originates from the God within, Nietzsche denies the existence of God and sees meaning as a concept created by humans themselves. In Nietzsche's book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, the idea of the Übermensch is depicted through the story of the philosopher Zarathustra, who disseminates his wisdom to those willing to receive it. Zarathustra asserts that humans are like a rope stretched over an abyss between the ordinary world of the beast and the superhuman strength. Our mission is to traverse the distance between the mundane realm of the beast and the power of the Übermensch, a perilous journey through the depths of the sea, transcending the ordinary and conformity that the crowd lives by. As Nietzsche wrote, "I teach you the Übermensch human being needs to overcome." What have you done to transcend yourself? All creatures have once created something superior to themselves, and do you intend to become the one who retreats from this great confrontation, even preferring to return to the status of an animal rather than triumph over humanity? To the ape, humans are just a joke or a feeling of shame. And that is how humans will become to the Übermensch, a joke or a feeling of shame. Nietzsche despises religion, especially Christianity, nationalism, and any other form of collective thinking in which people share a set of values not of their own making. Like domesticated sheep, they enjoy the low pleasures that society offers and prefer safety and security over risking the path to becoming the Übermensch. Someone who transcends man, crosses the abyss, and advances to the end of the rope. But you might ask, why should I engage in such a challenging journey? The reason is to avoid nihilism. With the famous phrase, "God is dead," Nietzsche points out the collapse of religion as a widely accepted value system, particularly in matters of ethics and truth. Therefore, to avoid falling into nihilism or alternatives like nationalism and ideas full of hatred, meaninglessness, and ultimately indifference, we need to seek and strengthen our own personal values and goals. But to do this, we must break away from the herd, rise above the mindless things trying to pull us back into the world of comfort, safety, and vague ideas. We must transcend the ancient ideologies, old moral rules, and especially excessive consumerism, a world that makes us weak and obedient. Therefore, from the perspectives of Nietzsche and Emerson, we can say that we have opened the path of loneliness, a path of independence and creativity. Our path is not the roads others have traveled, nor is it the rare paths few choose. It is unique to us, designed and explored through our own landscape. A unique path demands a distinct compass. To resist nihilism, we need to create strong values and goals. However, as we see in Camus' The Stranger, if we choose to stray from the common path, we may become outcasts and be rejected by society. Therefore, to honor non-conformity, we need strength and determination, willing to endure ridicule, scorn, and even punishment.